if you've got high levels of desire and you support that with strong levels of belief and confidence that you will prevail in the end, it's not a matter of if it will happen, it's a matter of, well, when it will happen, and it's only a matter of time that I'm going to make it happen. Hi everyone, Rob, Kropp and Dan Stones here from Pravar Group, and welcome back to the Trade Den.
Hey everyone, and today we're really excited because we're kicking off our new Matters series. These are going to be short, sharp 10-minute episodes that are laser focused on one topic, because we know your time is valuable, and sometimes all it takes is one insight to shift your thinking and your results. We're going to be looking at different types of matters. For instance, there'll be mindset matters, health matters, family matters, or even money matters.
This isn't about the fluff. It's about giving you the actionable ideas, distinctions, and insights to build your business, boost your leadership, and balance with all the things that matters the most. Today on Mindset Matters, Dan and I are going to be blowing up the motivational myth. Motivation as we know it is a myth. Motivation isn't the magic bullet that we require at the beginning of any major change. In fact, motivation is a result of process, not a cause. Understanding 5 concepts around motivation will change the way you approach any obstacle or big goal.
Absolutely. And if you're struggling with motivation at the moment, really take stock on these elements that we're about to discuss and look to make some shifts over time and see how you react, how you feel, and what happens to your levels of motivation. The first one I'm going to talk about is energy. Energy we mean by physical energy or even your mental energy, positive, negative, however you want to look at it. But ask yourself, what is your overall energy level at the moment? The big punchline to all of this is that nothing happens without some investment of energy. And the more energy you have, the greater your stamina and the greater the challenges you're going to be able to endure. Now, if you start thinking about energy, I think there's probably 3 key areas if you're diving into that feeling you're a bit off. And you can look at these as eat, move, and sleep. Have a look at your diet, have a look at your exercise, and even have a look at how much rest you're getting or how much sleep you're getting each night. Because all of these are going to have a massive impact on your energy. And I don't know, Rob, but there's probably nothing more than energy that would affect your motivation more quickly.
Yeah, if you've got low levels of energy, you're just not going to be motivated to get out of bed and off your ass to get on with the things that absolutely matter. And when you're tired, you're busted, you're worn out, your motivation's naturally low, and you're just not going to do what you know you need to get done to be able to move ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the second one, and this is where we start to get into these levers that we can pull and the adjustments we can make, but the second one we call desire.
Yeah, desire is a huge one. And when I think about desire, it comes down to, like, how bad do you want it? Like, how bad do you want what you're chasing? Is it a nice to have? Is it a must have? Are you interested? Or are you committed? There goes that saying that when you're interested, you do what's convenient. When you're committed, you do whatever it takes. And so desire for me is that when you've got that high level of desire, when it's a must have, I'm going to do it, it's a done deal within my mind that it's going to happen. Motivation is sustainable for the long term. And you've got, like you said before, you've got the ability to endure any challenges or obstacles that come along the way, because when you know what you want, why you want it, you're willing to push through the pain and the sacrifice to be able to achieve the ultimate things that you want. If you've got low levels of desire, the first time you come up against anything challenging, or you just couldn't be asked one day, then you're just not going to be bothered to get on with what matters in the end of the day. And that's why desire is a critical element for sustainable motivation.
Yeah, and I think people also then kid themselves about how much they want something. It sounds nice. I'd really like that. And this next lever we're going to talk about, called distraction, is a great way to measure, are you kidding yourself, or do you really desire that thing you want? So if we look at the third one, distraction, the question becomes, well, how easy are you distracted or shifted off path? Because if you're telling yourself you've got high levels of desire, yet you're being distracted by anything and everything, I'd be willing to probably put a wager on that you don't desire that thing as much as you're probably telling yourself.
Yeah, the problem is that we live in a world right now where it's a world full of distractions.
Yep.
Emails, phones, the environment that we operate in, social media. Like, we live in an environment where there is all these things are vying for our attention. And so when we have all these things trying to grab our attention, they hinder our levels of motivation to be able to get in and get things done. When the desire is greater than the level of distraction that is in your world, you've got the ability to push those distractions away because you know what you want, why you want it, and you're willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the next sort of pairing we're going to talk about are also equally as important. The next one's belief, and I'm interested to hear how desire and belief and how you see the two of those interacting, or how are they a little bit different?
Yeah, belief for me is it's what level of belief or confidence do you have that you will achieve the outcome. Like belief is that thing in your mind. Well, do I believe it's possible? And do I believe it's going to come true and I will prevail in the end? On one spectrum, if it's a nice to have and I believe it might happen one day, that's one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is it's a done deal. It's only a matter of time. And so your level of belief impacts your level of execution in the end of the day. If you've got low levels of belief, low levels of execution, and you're easily distracted. If you've got high levels of desire and you support that with strong levels of belief and confidence that you will prevail in the end, it's not a matter of if it will happen, it's a matter of, well, when it will happen, and it's only a matter of time that I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah, and I think this is where sitting down and taking stock of these elements is important. Belief, there's that old saying, if you think you can or you think you can't, then you're right. And I think this is a really big one for belief. Sit down and really ask yourself these questions and say, what is that level of belief? Because that's probably having more of an impact than what you recognize.
To determine that, it's all in our language. And if you heard my language before as nice to have, one day, might happen, like that's a reflection of low levels of belief. But I think when I was using the language before, it was like, it will happen, it's going to happen, it's already a done deal in my mind. That comes with a level of conviction in my language that's a reflection of high levels of belief. So, Dan, I think when you're listening and you're wondering, well, where's my level of belief and how's this impacting my motivation? Language is key, isn't it?
Yeah. And again, it's sitting down quietly and listening to that voice in your head, because it's telling you things that you probably don't want to hear most of the time. And if you can pick up on that, your belief will shift. And as a result of your belief shifting, again, tying it back in, the motivation starts to kick in again once the belief raises. In particular, I think, Rob, the last one we're going to tackle is something called delay. And you mentioned it when you were talking just before about belief. The other end, it's a done deal and it was only a matter of time. And that statement, it's only a matter of time, it's a throwaway line. But when you think about delay, what we really are talking about is time. Our ability to sort of sit there and say, well, where do I put this goal that I'm going after? And have I put it way, way, way out in the future so that it's sort of not even real? Someday I'll get this done. Motivation someday and length of time is really a big correlation. Yet if I've got the delays within my reach and I can think in terms of those timeframes where I set the goal, then my motivation will be higher. So what you can do with your belief, you need to play with time at the same time. Belief, yes, but then it is a matter of time. Do I need to give myself more time to build my belief? Or, hey, I need to bring this in to get the motivation kicked in and get the desire up. It's coming soon and I'm getting excited about it. So delay really plays into a couple of the things we've already talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I think about delay, it's like when someone will say, "Well, I'll be financially free at some point in my life." That's like 10, 15, 20 years down the line. That just seems so far. And your level of discipline and motivation and level of sacrifice can't endure that when you're thinking 10, 15, 20 years down the line. It is just way too far. But if you've got the ability to be able to break that level of desire of financial freedom back into milestones, and you can think 1 to 2 years down the line, it time collapses that to be able to make that time shorter, like you were talking about before. It brings it closer, it brings it more tangible and attainable in the mind, and that helps you with your ability to endure the pain and pleasure on the path to be able to get there, which increases your level of execution along the way. And you're not just relying on motivation, you can handle both sides of the equation because You know what you want, why you want it, how you're going to get there, and there's a nice tangible point to be able to get there, and boom, you just execute like a champion, and you're not relying on sugar hits of motivation to be able to make it a reality.
Absolutely. The longer the payoff, the less sustainable motivation we have, or the more it's going to take. So you can start to see that time frame playing into some of the other stuff we've already talked about. So those are the 5 levers or the 5 elements that we think actually make up motivation. Like we said, don't try and chase motivation like a unicorn once it's disappeared or you can't seem to tackle it. Go back to these 5 elements, explore them and ask the questions we've just given you. And with a little tweak, you'll find that motivation starts to build back up really, really quick.
If the day-to-day grind has worn down all levels of motivation and you're in that position where you're starting to think, is all of this worth it? Book in a strategy call at strategysession.com.au and we'll build a roadmap to get you unstuck and finally moving forward.
Well, that's it for our first Mindset Matters episode. If something here sparked a thought, given you an insight or a powerful distinction, let us know. Share it in the Trade Den Facebook community because we'd love to hear from you. Until next time.
See you then.